Greetings, Earthlings. How are you? I made a kind of a wish a few years ago that I'd regularly upload to you guys, and thank you so much for you guys who have hung in there and subscribed. You know, in this earth, on this earth, in the universe, there's many things to share. And sometimes I just get really bombarded with ideas, so much so that I don't do a bloody thing. And I don't worry about light, like see this light behind me here, that flare. That's not very kind of professional. I see I haven't got any clothes. Well, I've got clothes on, a bit more clothes. I've got pants on, all right, so don't freak out. But I kind of thought, to get a regular sort of podcasty type thing going for myself and for you guys, I thought I'd have to chuck a whole bunch of bloody techno stuff into it. Better microphone, better camera, better lighting, better editing. Then I realised, man, my life ain't like that. You know, I've achieved and done a lot of stuff just off the fly. So why don't I just leave it and leave all that professional stuff? Maybe later on, if I get like popular, to give you guys a better sort of experience. But you know, you can lose the creativity and the experience. So without further ado, what was my whole point of this podcast? I really want to talk about three things, which I'll talk about right now and get those off my chest. I think there's three, but anyway. First one is, these here are ladyfinger bananas, and they don't actually smell much like bananas, but take it from me, they are bananas. We were down in a place called Matheson's Bay, Matakana sort of area in New Zealand, and we're cruising along. We saw these were green, and $4 for a bunch. I've already had about 4 or 5 or 6, maybe 8 of them, and there's 2, 4, 6 left. And they are really cute, man. Like, I think they're called ladyfingers, a variety. And I just was really stoked that they were obviously growing in that area, and the people had just put them outside to buy and share them with us. So, very grateful there. Now, we import a whole bunch of bananas from overseas, and the fact is we can grow them ourselves. So, hey, if we can do that, guys, let's keep on doing it. Second one was, I've been wanting to keep a scrapbook for my ideas. Now, I wanted to keep it digital, like on the phone, because you lose scrapbooks, you can't find them. I find them all over the place from ones I started in the past. And I thought, oh yeah, with digital, at least it's like forever, which is true. But the trouble is you just never go back on them, eh? But see, this here is my latest scrapbook. It's a psychedelic kind of color. And I was hoping initially I was hoping it was going to be like blank inside blank pages, but they are ruled. But the cool thing is my writing's pretty crap, and my pictures aren't any good anyway. So I'm writing and putting in pictures for ideas for the future. That was actually point number 2. Point number 3 is sharing with you a bit of a revelation. Okay, I'm watching a Ram Dass. So Ram Dass used to be called Neil Alport back in the old days. He went to India, changed his name to Ram Dass. And he's just recently, he had a stroke a few years back, and he's just dealing with that. And it's really cool watching him, because I think his belief in consciousness is about the same as mine, kind of. He's got a little mantra which I hear him say quite a bit, and it goes, actually, a few things he says, right? People don't seem to understand they are a soul beyond incarnation. So we're in our bodies, we're incarnated in these vessels, but we're actually kind of souls beyond that. And I notice his little mantra he says with his beads is, I am loving awareness. So he is a being that is loving and aware. But anyway, I've got a little thing I want to share, because I know if I don't do it now, I'll forget. And it's kind of about the breath. Like when you're meditating, you know, often you have your eyes closed, not always. It's up to you. I like them closed. And you breathe in, and you breathe out. And like there's all sorts of sort of things to be aware of when you breathe. So when you're breathing in, you kind of, depending on how you look at it, you're breathing in life, you're taking air from the universe, and then when you breathe out, you're giving back again. So everyone gives and receives. There's no question about that. When I breathe in, I say the words to myself, calmness, and when I breathe out, kindness. I had to think about that for a while. So when I meditate, I like to use the words calmness because I want to be calm, and kindness, I want to be kind. I see that's a big factor of love is kindness. So that's my cup. Those my two things. I've been told, I think, that you're not meant to share a mantra, but I shared it. So what? So anyway, I got meditating on that a little bit, kind of thing, and the way I'll read what I wrote in my little journal. Okay, I'll give you a little snapshot of this journal thing here. How about sideways? There we go. So if I ever need to go back on that, I can kind of read on it. You won't even be able to see it very well because some pencil, but who cares? And it's backwards too, so don't know how to flip it. Maybe I could flip it, eh? Yeah, so where are we? So the breath, inwards equals life, outwards equals death. But then again, depends who you're talking to. We are effectively giving CPR, that's cardiopulmonary resuscitation, to the universe, and the universe in turn reciprocates by breathing the breath back into us. So we're sort of breathing into the universe, it's breathing back, and if you're all one, it is the universe anyway. It's oddly not an accountant's ledger, but it is. So, accountants, in accountancy, especially in the world view, everything's just got to be ticked and balanced sort of thing. Some people run two ledgers, which isn't kind of seen as correct, but hey, the universe, so, no one's checking to see if you've breathed your share of breaths, Not really anyway. And I'm kind of starting to write a book, which might even be just one paragraph, but it's about a dude who's having a stroke, and he's got like dribble coming down his face, and he's very conscious of it. Oddly, actually, when someone's had a stroke, often the part where they dribble is the numb part, so they're not actually aware of it. So maybe if they had a mirror, they would. But anyway, this dribble's coming down now. It reminded me of a guy I saw on a rest home once who had a bit of chocolate, and chocolate was a big square just sitting there like this, and he was looking at me, trying to communicate, and he just didn't even realise it was there, this big hunk of chocolate, eh? And I was kind of thinking, well, hey, in this little story, this dude, he's sitting there and he's dribbling, but no one's aware. He's in his own room, he's just humiliated and he's bummed out, and he thinks his life's over, right? And as it dribbles down, it kind of splashes to his hand and just hits the ground and splashes. But what do you know, there's a little mouse there, and this little mouse is near death, and maybe it's hypoglycemic and it's got diabetes, and it walks up to this little spittle, this little drop, this little dribble on the ground, and it had been praying for food or sustenance, just like the Israelites prayed for goodness, prayed for manna, I think it was, in the Old Testament, and God sent down I'm sure it was called manna or mama, whatever it was, and they ate it. It's kind of like mushrooms, I think. Anyway, they survived on that. So this mouse, what was a real embarrassment to the man dribbling was actually real sustenance to the dude, to the little mouse, and the mouse eats it and gets stronger. And the way I want to kind of frame this book is that the mouse goes out to the universe, and just the whole shebang of how it affects the universe is showing that from a simple dribble from a man who's humiliated, having a stroke, good things come. So the mouse might do something, and then it's kind of like the little bug that went Archu, right? If you've read that book before, really good novel, a literacy masterpiece. And yeah, it goes out to the world. Who knows? The mouse might get eaten by a rabbit, or by a cat or something, or maybe the mouse freaking, I don't know, somehow delivers sustenance to somebody else. Yeah, in a prison, right? So the mouse goes along to a prison, and there's this dude who's on death's door. He's been forgotten about, and the guy eats the mouse. It's brutal, but that circle of life thing just keeps on going. The guy gets out of prison, and maybe he sort of finds a cure for cancer or something. Helps lonely people. Yeah. So what's the bet that book doesn't go any further? That's as far as it got in my little scrapbook, but I don't care. So anyway, that's just what I want to share with you fellas. That's as good as it gets from my podcast. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. Go out there and live your life. If you do like it, subscribe. Leave me a note. And if you want to, a comment would be lovely. And I might be able to respond to it. And might be able to post some more. So yeah. Love you.